Welcome into Extra Time, everyone. I had to do a big extra welcome because I'm back for a hot minute, and I'm so happy to be back with Stevie and Brian.
What was longer than a minute?
It was a hot minute. Well, it's a bit longer than a minute, but it is literally a hot minute because there is a heat wave going on right now. So early on in the show, guys, we saw some initiations going on, of course, with Gigi Buffon and Gonzalo Higuain, who probably had to do it their second time around at Juventus now. And so I have to ask you, I'm pretty sure with Stevie's 100 years on this earth, and Brian's like maybe, 30 years on this earth. So 130 years on this earth between these two guys. You must have some juicy ones. I don't know who to go to first. Let's go with the more recent ones first.
No, let's go here.
You want to go way back, Brian?
Hold on a second. Is there age discrimination going on here or what?
I'll honestly tell you, I think I may have headed too many balls. I can't remember doing one.
You can't?
No. None.
Not Everton, not at Fulham?
Well, the Everton one, I found out when I first got there. Thankfully, another person had signed on loan the exact same day. And as I was walking into the bathroom, I see two guys from our team with a huge bucket, like this pail of ice cold water, and they just dump it right over the top of the toilet.
It wasn't the ice bucket challenge, was it?
No.
No.
I looked at the guys. They're like, "Hey, don't ever lock the door. Don't ever shut the bathroom stall." And
When
I'm
you're
like,
using the
what
bathroom?
do you mean? It's like, you'll get that every single time.
So don't ever, not even for a one or a number two?
Oh, none. No, it was always.
Or a number 3 or 4?
It was always keep an eye out. I don't know if that tradition still stands, but if you do go to Everton, do not lock the stall.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, dear. You guys have seen the worst, literally. Stevie, what about you?
In Liverpool, you had to either the young guys who just signed as professionals or anybody who had joined the club since the last Christmas party had to get on stage in the club that we used to hire out and either sing a song or do a party piece.
That's it. Wow, that was a massive letdown.
When you say party,
the problem
when you say
is-
party piece, what do you mean? Like a trick?
Anything. Doesn't matter. Just whatever you do. The problem is that you stand on the stage and everybody is throwing beer and everything at you. And actually,
What was your party trick?
I sung a song, but I can't tell you what it was. But I will tell you, I got a fright because I was launching beer at somebody else. And the guy who owned the club at the time was Tommy Smith. Now, Tommy's not a guy that you have anything to do with because he'll just beat you up. And Tommy came up behind me and he had a brush in his hand because he was cleaning up all the beer and the sandwiches and all the food that was getting thrown, right? And of course I was overdoing it.
Of course.
As you do.
As you would.
And he just come up and tapped me on the shoulder and he just leant over and he went, "Hey, Jock." I went, "Yeah." And he went, "You throw one more thing, I'm going to shove this brush where the sun don't shine." I was like, "All right, Tom."
Got you, Captain.
Not a problem,
Perfect.
Tom.
I'm sure Stevie's got a couple more stories, but like I said, this is a family show, so we'll save those for the next autobiography. Shall we get into the questions then, gents?
Sure.
First one now. This one's coming from Sir Ted Lasso. Oh, don't we know him very well?
Ted.
He says, how come you can't host more often? Oh, Ted, he's always batting in my corner.
You're a
Pick
busy
these
girl.
questions.
I'm a busy girl. I didn't write this question.
Did you pick these questions?
I did not pick these questions. But you see, Ted, Dad may be small, but he's got a massive, massive ego. And we don't like to bruise it. Do we?
That makes sense.
Make sense?
Yeah,
If we can, we will.
Also, I did move all the way to London now, so it's a wee bit hard to.
Yeah, it's a
fly
long way
over
for
here.
home games, isn't
It
it?
is. But at least I'll be out there bringing you a taste of the action, which is more me. Right?
Aye. If you say so.
All right, let's move on now to the next one. This one's from Sid Ant, and he says, or he's making a statement rather. He says, Alisson had a greater effect than Virgil van Dijk in Liverpool's defense last year. Am I wrong, Stevie? That's some fighting words. Or might be right too.
It's you kind of try to split hairs. If you talk about the influence that both Alisson and Van Dijk had, there's no question. Alisson, for me, well, you look at the stats, they back it up. He was the best goalie in the Premier League last year. So there's no question. Huge input into what Liverpool did. But I think Van Dijk probably just shades him. I think he just shades him because I think I think he had more influence out with the penalty box than what Alisson had in the penalty box. So it's kind of
the amount of times
choosing. I mean, you can't get this one wrong. They were so fantastic, the both of them.
I can understand it, but listen, the amount of times Van Dijk had to cover, the amount of times he had to communicate higher up the field, reading the play, especially with the wing backs overlapping and getting forward so often. I think Van Dijk was more important. You add in the few mistakes early on from Alisson, and Van Dijk didn't necessarily have that many.
Can't think of one.
I think he gave.
You're exactly right.
I think he gave
both were great, but Van Dijk was just that much.
Van Dijk gave one penalty away all season or something. That's a bit.
Both forgivable offenses because they were both absolutely outstanding.
Yeah,
Let's go on now to Big Jaffe. And he says, the way Gareth Bale has been treated by Zidane is absolutely disgraceful. World-class player. Stevie, would you have him in a Liverpool shirt?
I would love to have him in the Liverpool squad. I couldn't honestly turn round to you and
Squad.
That's technically a shirt.
Listen, we were talking on the show, right? We were talking on the show about Liverpool's front three and how much they've been playing for the last 2 or 3 seasons. You know, they've all been playing through the summer. Firmino and Sane and Salah. So,
how about this?
Mane, I beg your pardon. I always mix those two up.
This?
So imagine being able to give one of them a break and have somebody like Bale to bring on instead of Divock Origi.
There you go. That was my question.
So that would
be some squad depth.
That would be fantastic, but that's not going to happen. I would say though, I mean, how is Zidane treated them that badly and disgracefully?
I guess just his comments. They were a bit.
He hasn't called them names. He's just said, look,
he's not part of the plans.
He's not part of the plans. I mean, that's not a disgrace.
But he also kind of said, I would like to see him leave sooner than later.
Well, because he wants the money to get other people in and he wants to get on with it and not be asked every 2 minutes of the day what's happening with Gareth Bale.
There's nice ways of like saying it. Just say, I hope this situation resolves itself
I think
sooner.
As a professional, you'd rather hear from your manager to say, hey, you're not part of my plans.
Yes.
I think the bigger issue is now for Bale to, one we've talked about a lot, the salary, right? But for me, it's more important for Bale to have the desire to want to go and play somewhere again. Instead of sitting there and making all this money, and I've said this in the past shows, he'll be able to make that money, and I'm talking that same year by either Real Madrid paying off part of his contract and then making a good salary, which he's very much deserved, somewhere else where he can get back into that conversation, at least try and play back into that conversation of being one of the best soccer players in the world. And sitting on the bench is not going to allow you to do that. So the fact that he's okay with sitting on the bench, I question the desire. And the desire is always needed to be a top player.
And to go back to Liverpool, that's my problem with Origi. Divock Origi's 24 years old, and he's been sat on the bench for the last 4 years. And he's just signed a new deal to sit on the bench for another 4 years. I mean, where's the desire there from a 24-year-old, really?
Well, the difference is he's not going to get to a better club.
Yeah.
Whereas Bale can still get to a higher club.
Yeah, but you want to play.
No, you're exactly. Hey, listen, I'm with you.
Play.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I understand that.
I thought you would be.
We're never going to stop talking about Gareth Bale until this situation does resolve itself. So let's move on to the next question. This one's from Enyad the Great. Hope I said that right. He says, your favorite preseason location as a player, coach, or journalist? Well, you have all three on the table then.
I can absolutely 1,000% tell you that from a coach's point of view and from all my players' point of view, our preseason location was Cancun during spring break.
Oh! Did you actually get anything done?
I never got one complaint the whole week we were there.
The Kraft family's real happy. Right? How did that season start out so poorly?
I know. So as coach? What about you, Brian? As player, maybe?
You know, we did a camp with, back in the day, there was a U.S. national B team. So still in college, we did it 7 days in Bermuda, where we had 1 game and 3 practices. We stayed at Elbow Beach. We walked up the beach, practiced for an hour, and then the rest was on our own. Oh, that was a trip.
It's a lovely place, Bermuda, isn't it?
As a journalist, I'm trying to think, but I really liked LA. The 2 times that I've been for ICC preseason. One involved being pushed in a pool, in case y'all missed that. My one claim to fame. But LA is quite nice. It's a nice city. It's very nice.
You've got that look in your face as if you need to convince us.
I wanted like some backing up. I thought you guys would be like, yeah, I've had a couple of great times.
I can tell you where is not so enjoyable also, if you want to hear those.
Yes, let's
And
hear
you're
it.
probably at the same boat. I remember U20 training for camp, and this is back in the day. It's in Guadalajara, and that's still there. And I'm sure you've been to preseason there. This was there. There was 1 telephone.
Oh.
There was no TV, and you were in the middle of nowhere. Now it's been upgraded a little bit, but I mean it was so bad that we had a night where it was, okay, guys, for fun we're gonna have Ask the Doc.
Oh my goodness.
And Dr. Mendelbaum would be out there on the patio, and we would ask him questions. That was the fun.
My first pre-season with the Revs, we were in a place in Brazil, and we had to walk from the compound half a mile into the village in the dark to use the phone.
To use the phone?
Yeah. This was 2001. You use the phone half a mile in the dark. And we walked down the road. I'm walking down the road. I was with a guy called John Murphy, who used to be the goalie coach. He's now at Clemson, I believe. Good old John. And we're walking down the road coming back, because you couldn't go on your own. It was pitch black. Some guy went fleeing past on a cycle bike that hit me in the arm as he was going past. That's how dark it was. You couldn't even see me. And that was 2001.
Stevie didn't have his reflective clothing on.
I know.
Yeah, I forgot to pack it when I was going pre-season. Oh yeah, boots and reflective clothing.
Clothing.
Silly me. What was I thinking
Blame the
about?
equipment manager.
Can't believe I never brought that with me.
Okay, well, let's go on now.
I could have brought one of those lamps, you know the coal
Miner's
miners.
lamp, yeah.
Right, boots, training kit, miner's lamp. Forgot to use the phone, Eleanor.
Cell phones back then probably didn't have the fancy technology like they do now with the flashlight, so.
Wasn't it tower?
Oh, there you go. Let's go on to the GOAT, the greatest of all time. We'll see if he is. Stevie and Brian, what do you miss the most about being a pro footballer besides pre-seasons in Cancun?
I didn't have one of those.
Saturday night after they've won.
Aw, that was touching.
I don't think he was trying to be touching.
The camaraderie?
He's thinking-
I'm assuming
No,
he's
he's
talking about
thinking-
the camaraderie, the bond.
Hold on.
I think he's with Paul Mariner
Final.
at a bar. Am I far off?
About being a pro footballer, though.
No, playing wise. Final whistle goes. Give it the old quick get right. Thanks very much. All the best. Get off, get changed, get in the shower, get back and get into the players' bar. And then enjoy yourself for the rest of the night.
All right. Brian.
3 points in the bag though. That was the key.
Yeah, the win's always
That's the key.
always fun. To me, the day in, day out of the banter in the locker room. Just
See,
the
that's what I
fun
was
being around the
waiting for.
guys.
Brotherhood.
Also, you know, it is nice to get paid to stay fit. Because once you stop
that's
doing,
the motivation.
then it's hard.
Right.
It's hard.
When you have to do it for free now.
Yeah, it's hard.
I know Stevie moans about it every day.
He's looking good though.
I know. Stevie
Why?
Nicol is down, what, 15 pounds?
Yep.
15 pounds. This is unreal. Big Boss Dog wants to know, which one do you think is better, Aliens or the Terminator? I personally love them both, but which ones would you pick?
Absolute rubbish.
Aliens.
Terminator.
I say, on a scale of 1 to 10, none of these two are even on the scale.
What?
That's not the question.
Aliens was
That's not it.
absolute
You
garbage.
digress. If you had to
not
pick
the question.
lesser of two
Then pick
evils,
one.
choose one. Aliens
Terminator.
or Terminator?
Yeah, I'm with him.
Terminator is daft, but it's miles better than Aliens. I mean,
Nah,
what's
I like
a lot
Aliens.
of nonsense?
Aliens scared me, and I like horror movies only. So I feel like Aliens is closer to what I would think is a horror than
Sure.
Terminator.
No, Terminator for me. I like action movies.
Do you want to close this out in an Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator voice?
No.
Oh, give it a whirl, Brad.
No.
He's having a laugh.
I know. Why don't you go on, girl?
Was this America's Got Talent or something?
We'll be back.
All right, we'll leave it there. We're there.
We're going to leave extra time at that, but we'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you catch us. I believe, Stevie, are you going to be here? Yes. Shaq is going to be here, and I'm going to be here.
I'll be back.
We'll be back.